Good morning, everybody, friends, neighbors, and to my fellow soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and all veterans. First of all, I want to say thank you to Dan Furtado, my good friend, and also a retired Army doctor who was a colonel at the Campbell Veterans Memorial Foundation. And the Los Gatos Veterans Memorial Foundation also for thinking of me, inviting me to speak in this very special event this morning. My name is Otto Lee. I'm currently serving as Santa Clara County Supervisor for District 3, along with Mike Wasserman and also Susan Ellenberg in Santa Clara County. Some people look at me and got a little confused, like, wait a minute, you're in a uniform. Well, I have served myself 28 years in the U.S. Navy, retired 3 years ago in the Supply Corps. Thank you. My grandfather actually joined the U.S. Navy in Shanghai back in the 1930s, served in the fast frigate in World War II, and also retired after 20 years of active duty service. So Memorial Day to me carries formal meaning this year, especially after I'm not able to gather last year due to COVID. Today we really reflect on what it really means to give it all, especially after the recent tragedy that senselessly took the lives from our Santa Clara County and VTA family this week. Today we're here to pay tribute to those who have given it all to the service. To recognize the bravery and devotion, we observe the honor of the strength, the service, and sacrifice of our country's most noble heroes, our gallant Americans. We honor your service. And the word about Memorial Day, I just want to mention this. When you open the newspaper today, the first thing you see is all the great sales on Memorial Day. And many people get that confused with Veterans Day, right? Aren't they all supporting the veterans and military, something like that? Well, a little quick history. Veterans Day was actually on November 11th, any day. It doesn't get moved to a Monday to make it more convenient. November 11th every day, because this started back in the end of World War I as Armistice Day. And thereafter, it was called the Veterans Day to commemorate the service of every veteran that served this country. Well, everybody who has served in our military has to raise their right hands, swear, and every one of them, every one of us, has basically given a blank check. A blank check that says, I will be willing to pay any amount and up to my life. And this is what we are trying to commemorate today, because Memorial Day is the memory of those who actually did pay that ultimate sacrifice. So while we're enjoying the sales and the barbecue later today, I want to remind everybody the real reason we're having this day off is not for a sale. It's not just for family gathering together. It really is to remember those who has done the most ultimate sacrifice. On Memorial Day, we remember the wars to build, to protect, and to unite our nation, to seek the fulfillment of America's promise for the freedom of all. On Memorial Day, we also remember those who didn't return home from the conflicts of World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, Gulf War, and those from our time in Afghanistan and Iraq, and so many, many other conflicts that this country has been in for the last over 200 odd years. President Lincoln once spoke about military heroes. Quote, they gave the last full measure of devotion, unquote, for the well-being of the United States of America and their fellow Americans. When we talk about ultimate sacrifice, I just want to share some stories with you that I have myself. A very good friend of mine, we graduated together to be a new Supply Corps ensign, and we've served together in Supply Corps. Lieutenant Commander Keith Taylor, a jovial guy. We got caught up together during the initial invasion of Iraq in 2003. We have lunch every week or so, and for about 6 months. And in 2005, he raised his hands and volunteered to serve in Iraq, to help rebuild that country after the initial invasion. I saw that same email, and I shared with my wife. I said, honey, look at this beautiful picture. Maybe I should go and join Keith as well. What my wife did, he deleted that email. At first I was a little bit mad about her, but then not 2 months later, I got this news on a Sunday morning. All these emails with the title of Lieutenant Commander Keith Taylor on it, on the subject line. I knew this can't be good. This couldn't be good. And finally, I had the courage to open up the emails. And I learned that on the Sunday afternoon, right around lunchtime, a mortar came in, hit the building that he was working at when one of those former Saddam's palaces. The sad part is that mortar actually did not blow up because he was in a hard shell building. Has it blown up, it actually could have been protected. But the fact that it didn't blow up, it actually crumbled the ceiling and crashed on him, and he died in the crumble with another civilian who was working there. And I shared the story because it was actually lunchtime, and somebody asked him, I said, hey, Chief, let's go get lunch. And he actually said, no, I got some things finished. I'm not hungry. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go finish my work. And it's that type of sacrifice. You just don't know when it happens. It's not because you're better or you're worse. It's a lot of times it's simply because we are at the right place at the right time. In that case, when you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, then you would have to pay that ultimate sacrifice. I myself got caught up in 2008. After a lot of bruising election myself, I was running for this position. Supervisor actually came in second. And I got orders to go to Baghdad in 2009. My family, of course, was very worried. I had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old at the time. And knowing what sacrifice we were going through, my wife asked, could you go send somewhere else? Can you go to Kuwait? Why do you have to go there? You're a Navy, you're a reserve. You're supply corps. Why did they put you in the middle of Baghdad, in the front line? I said, I must have pissed off somebody to get those orders. Well, I went because there's no choice. And I'm very honored to be there during the time when President Obama just got elected and gave that order to say that we are now drawing down. And as a supply officer, instead of moving things and supplies to our troops, my job became closing the bases. How to close those over 420 FOBs, front, forward operating bases, in a matter of 2 years, because that's the timeline we got. I worked under Army General and Army Colonel, and during that 1 year, I'm very honored to say I've helped close 200 bases while I was there. And one night, before Halloween, we heard the sirens going off on my base. And we've heard those sirens before. You see what happened in Israel, right? Those mortar attacks and rockets that goes in. It's another one of those warnings. It's no big deal, I've heard it before. But I'll go through the drill. I'll get down, as I was trained. Not crush down, but lay flat on the ground. In order to not get hurt by shrapnel is how we were trained. What I didn't realize was, this one came really close. I could hear the rocket coming in. And when it exploded, the first thing came to my mind was, oh my gosh, that was close. But then the second thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, these things don't come in onesies. They come in pairs. They come in groups. And not another 30 seconds, another one came. And this time it feels just as close, but in a different direction. I think at that moment when I realized, oops, I might not make this. At that time, I remember as a good Catholic, I was doing all kinds of prayers. And by the time another 30 seconds come by, another one came by, but this time felt a little further away. And about 2 minutes later, we hear the sound off says, all cleared, which really means that there's no more being detected coming. I went outside my room. I looked around because I know I didn't get hit, but this is where I live, and there are other people living by me. So I was asking folks, is there anybody who's got hurt? First, I saw what they call these things a bunker. It was actually an upside down U that's made of concrete, and you see people piling in there. It's one of those things that you see people peeling out. I think I saw 30 people peeling out. I've never seen that many people can pack into that little space. It seems like people jovial, laughing, like, oh wow, that was close. Until another minute later, I saw this young soldier. She was just running over and says, medic, medic. So, somebody got hurt. Good enough, because of my rank, I was able to get a truck. So I dashed my truck, drove over to the TMU, the medical unit to just grab folks, and then 4 guys were coming up, like, grab the A bag, grab the A bag. They throw in the back of my truck. I drove them, dropped them off. And, you know, as luck has it, turns out there was a little berm. I couldn't go in there with my truck, so they have to carry the bag and run inside. Now I'm trying to drive in there, try to get there. Maybe this will become the ambulance to carry any injured to the hospitals. And turned out by the time I got there, it was too late. There's already other ambulances there. And that was good because by the time I looked at the site where it was hit, I didn't see the dead body. A soldier living no more than 90 feet from me. It went into their living quarters. And the sad part was he was actually Skyping his wife at the time. And the hit. And I want to share the stories with you because it happens to all of us who serve long enough. We see these things. When I was a midshipman, I was going to a flight deck to see some flight ops. And helicopters taking off from one to the other. Simple operations, right? On a nice day, it was a little bit windy. 2 helicopters took off. Suddenly, the wind blew, one flipped over and fell in the water. The next 12 hours, we were with strobe lights looking in the seawater, looking for bodies, looking for anything that floats. The 2 pilots survived because they have the training. 16 Marines died in that chopper. The reason I want to share these is that the final story I want to share is what I have appreciated when I came back from Iraq. When I flew back from Iraq, we were all in uniform. My first stop's actually in DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. And while we were walking in this little catwalk, one level above the departure gates, where people are moseying around, rushing to the airport, getting their last bite. You know how everything is very hectic at the airport when you're trying to catch a flight, right? While we were walking the catwalk, all of us in uniform, just getting ready to go to the baggage claim to get our bags, I saw something incredible. The entire area of the gates stopped. Everybody's busy doing everything stopped. They looked up and they started clapping. They started clapping because they saw these folks coming back in uniform, walking through. And it really brought tears to my eyes of what supporting our troops means, supporting our military means. Because as we have seen so often, so many protests, especially from Vietnam, many veterans who came back from Vietnam were called a spat on or baby killer and all those things. At the end of the day, we need to recognize everybody who served has no choice of where to go serve. When we raise our hand to serve this country, we're not serving for a political cause. We're not serving for one issue. We're serving to protect America, our freedom, our values around the world. And this is the part I want to make sure that we will never commit the error, is to never forget that we always, regardless of political stripes or issues or views, we always support our service members and our veterans. Finally, as we keep within our hearts the stories of all we know from our Santa Clara County and California families we have lost, thanks to our county and all of you taking the pandemic very seriously, We have already vaccinated over 1.3 million folks in Santa Clara County. We are able to gather today and even hug our loved ones as we pay respect to our fallen heroes. This and every Memorial Day is a time for us to reflect on the peace that we've enjoyed and show our gratitude to those who have given it all to secure our freedom. So therefore, I'm going to ask my colleague to join me. Supervisor Sun Ellenberg, please come up. We have a resolution signed by all 5 of the supervisors of Santa Clara County. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Santa Clara does hereby recognize and commend the Campbell Veterans Memorial Foundation and the Los Gatos Memorial Foundation for reminding us all to pay homage to the importance of Memorial Day, a day to remember the sacrifice and bravery of our heroes, passed and adopted by the Board of Supervisors, County of Santa Clara, State of California on this 25th day of May, 2021 by unanimous vote. Please.